continued remembrance as it is Lou Gehrig Day, one of the biggest days across Major League Baseball where we do bring awareness. And so really special now that we are joined with Dr. Jeffery Rothstein here with Johns Hopkins, the Robert Packard ALS Center. And you have, I mean, really impressive, treating more than 10,000 patients, over 20 studies. You've written over 300 pieces of work. So in your life, given to fighting ALS, where have you seen the biggest steps forward? What's kind of given you that encouragement?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And if I look over time, I would have said, yes, we're making progress, and I've been doing this for decades. Really, in the last year, we've seen truly amazing progress because the FDA approved the first drug. It's a genetic therapy for ALS that not only dramatically slows the disease down, and I mean dramatically, and it's for a small subset of patients, but they actually get better. 50% of patients gets better. That's unheard of in a neurodegenerative disease. That's pretty exciting.
That's extremely exciting, and having a couple dear friends who do deal with ALS currently, that's kind of astounding just to hear this from you right now. What was it for you, though, that you decided this was the path that you wanted to take in medicine?
I'm fortunate to be at Hopkins. I've been there for closing on 40 years. And it's like all areas of academics, it's the people you train with. And I was fortunate to be around wonderful mentors. But it was an area back in the 90s that was not well understood. And so it was an opportunity to really apply good science to try to understand how terrible the disease. And that was really the convergence of both mentorship and the opportunity to try to understand this disease.
So what's on the horizon outside of the drug that you just mentioned when you were looking at research?
Much more. That's exciting, but it is actually for a small percentage of patients. We call them, it's an inherited form. But there's the rest of ALS, and we're on the verge of those kinds of rapidly moving therapies. Most therapies take about a decade to go from the laboratory, which is what we excel at Packard and other researchers, to get to a drug. These new genetic therapies, within 2 years, you can go from the laboratory to a patient trial. That's just remarkable, and that's exciting.
That's very exciting. Do you foresee at some point in the future, no matter how far off that might be, that this could be something eradicated at some point?
Yes, in a way that ties to the genetics, so a little sciencey here. That genetic therapy that's so powerful, well, there are going to be children, offspring, or brothers and sisters who have the disease, who don't have the disease yet, but they carry the gene. We are now running clinical trials where we give the therapy to someone before they actually show disease. And the best of that would be they never see their disease manifest at all. That's even more exciting.
This is the best news that I have heard in a really long time. Very encouraging to hear. Again, this is Dr. Jeffery Rothstein with us here from Johns Hopkins. Take a look at the work because it's remarkable what he and the rest of these researchers have put together in the battle against ALS. Thank you so much for joining us today.